He needs to see that we are good people. He has to see that we are good people. Eso es lo que él quiere. I'm not the one protesting. I'm not the one protesting.
All right, protesters are calling us, this is happening all across the country today, a day without immigrants, to appreciate the role that immigrants play in our economy. No one doubts that. But shouldn't they have called this what the real intent was, a day without illegal immigrants? Isn't that the distinction here? The fact of the matter is that we are a nation of immigrants. So debating about whether we really like or need or don't appreciate immigrants misses the bigger point. Maybe it's the illegal ones we don't appreciate, and that's what we're trying to crack down on. Or is that racist, or is that just sort of morphed into one single issue here? The Washington Times columnist Madison Gesiotto joins us, Democratic strategist Christy says as well. Christy, don't you think that's a little disingenuous?
No, I don't. Look, it takes a long time to become a legal citizen, sometimes years and years. And so until that's sort of the line between when you're finally legal and when you've just been living here, paying your taxes, doing good, you know, trying to raise your kids, and just put food on the table like everybody else.
I'm talking about
takes a long time.
You're here illegally. It's not a matter of waiting for the paperwork to clear it on. They're here illegally, and we're celebrating that.
No, we're not celebrating illegality. What we're celebrating is the fact that, or what we're standing up against, is the fact that Donald Trump has this very callous and sort of cruel way of talking about people who are undocumented. I mean, obviously, look no further than the Mexico is bringing their rapists, et cetera.
That's not what I'm asking. I'm saying, don't you think there's a big difference between immigrants here legally and those here illegally, and morphing the thing, we're just sort of lumping it into all of them being immigrants, does a disservice to all who are genuine legal immigrants and citizens of this country?
No, and I guess what I'm saying is because that pathway can take years and years and such a long time, there is a bit of a, you know, obviously not a gray area in terms of whether or not you're a citizen, but a gray area in terms of whether or not you're part of the fabric of America, right?
I just worry, Madison, that we have sort of morphed the two together now to say that there is no distinction. I think there's a very big distinction.
Absolutely. I mean, the word missing here is illegal. There's a big difference between legal and illegal immigrants. I mean, my family immigrated here less than 100 years ago. They came to chase the American dream, and they did it legally. They took all the right steps before coming here. They're proud of that. And I know so many other families that feel the same. And what I think we need to remember when we talk about this day without immigrants is they're trying to make this point, and so many of them actually are legal. So if they want to miss work or miss school to go out there on behalf of people who have broken our laws, you know, they are lawbreakers if they're illegal, whether they're waiting on papers or not. It's against the law to be an illegal immigrant. And so if they want to do that, that's fine. But that's just going to help other businesses who aren't closed down today.
Don't you think, though, Christy, it does a disservice here to all who got here illegally? And I understand the case of those, let's say, who are going through the paperwork or going to, but they're taking the legal channels.
But that's most people, Neil. I mean, who are here sort of, quote, illegally, right?
No,
they
but
are
you're
going
not
to
even acknowledging No, but Christy, you don't seem to be acknowledging those who got here illegally without going through the proper channels and are now demanding the kind of rights and the attention, and oftentimes pushed and supported by businesses that are doing that and not drawing any distinction or difference at all. It insults legal immigrants. It insults the very makeup of this country, doesn't it?
Okay, but that's not really what these protests are about. You know, right now, I think actually it's been a very brave and patriotic
owners who say that they hire illegals and they value illegals, and they
I would bet you Donald Trump did as well when he was
Do you think that's
in business. Do I think it's fair to hire people who are illegal? I think that, you know, we need to straighten the laws on a lot of different ways. But you know, again, I think
no distinction, right?
Of course I draw a distinction, Neil. What I'm saying is we need to change our attitudes. What we need to change our attitudes here. I think it is a brave and patriotic act of everybody that came out today to say, look, you know, as you said, immigrants, we are a nation of immigrants. If you are an immigrant, you know, you might be a doctor or a lawyer, or even if you are still waiting on your papers.
We're a nation of legal immigrants. I mean, as our former President Barack Obama said himself about 10 years ago, people who come here illegally or people who hire people that come here illegally disrespect the rule of law of this country. We have to crack down our borders. We have to continue to support legal immigrants and, you know, American-born citizens. These people are struggling to get jobs in a lot of cases. And, you know, we need to do what we need to do in order to protect our citizens and protect our legal immigrants.
No, look, there's a slippery slope here, which, again, is saying that, that you're a scary other if, in fact, you don't have your paperwork yet. And that's what we're doing here.
You're just
you
not
can
a
wait
legal
to
immigrant.
become a citizen anyhow here. You don't need to come here illegally.
We're making this sound like a racial or bigoted issue. You're not scary. You're just illegal.
Exactly.
You're not due any rights. You're not due any sort of incentives or anything from our government or businesses. And when we morph or gloss over what makes an American citizen or a legal immigrant in the same context as someone illegal who shouldn't be here, you're doing a disservice to everybody.
I get your point. I do. But what I'm saying is at the same time right now, ICE agents are patrolling neighborhoods, trying to, use fear and intimidation about people's legalization status.
They're not using fear and intimidation. These ICE raids you referred to were cooked up and organized under Barack Obama. They're building up now.
But that is correct. It is not their job, however, to, again, intimidate people who actually have a solid legalization status by just, as I said, patrolling ethnic neighborhoods. They are doing that.
You see, this is why this does such a disservice to people, because you're making it sound like ICE agents who are simply doing their job to get people who shouldn't be here out of here as if they're the Gestapo and they're rounding up people to put them on a train. Come on, you know better than that.
I don't know better than that. I know that under the Obama administration they targeted people who were actually criminals.
There goes the country. I'll tell you. Yes. I wish we had more time. Blessedly, we do not. We're going to have more right after this.